All right, so welcome, Holly. So this is our second coaching session.
Yeah.
So let's do a little recap on the first session.
Mhm.
So just summarizing, the goal that you were left with was to contact somebody in your support network,
Yeah.
and you managed to do that and you pushed that forward, didn't you? So everything was good. You kind of achieved that goal as well.
Yeah.
So now you want to kind of shift the focus, don't you, and work on a particular area that's recently come up for you in between our sessions. So if you don't mind
Mhm.
just sharing what that is, and let's see where it goes.
Yeah, sure. So, I'm off work at the moment for stress leave, and initially I thought it was just because of, like, things that are going on in my personal life, just a lot of changes going on, some family things, and then I've gone off on stress leave. I'm feeling a little bit better about that, and every time I think about returning to work to do my
Mhm,
actual job and be at the company, I get really anxious and I really feel like my body is telling me no, that I shouldn't go to that job. Obviously, it's very easy to say that, but the reality is you have to earn money. So I'm a bit kind of stuck on how can I get myself out of that role. I have a 3 month um, notice period, which is really unusual for my level in the company. And I feel a little bit as if I've been sort of, I guess, a little not mistreated, but I feel like I've not been managed very well. I joined the company in December, and in May, some new, big changes came in. A new head of the department who I report directly into, and they are changing everything about the team. I work in a change program, so they're changing the whole way the program's made up, all the documents, the meetings, who's involved, who are the key stakeholders, and I've had a lot of work taken off of my plate and not much given back. And I passed my probation in June, just as all of this was kicking off. And since then, I've had really 2 months of I don't know what I'm doing on a daily basis, and I have no idea what my role is going to look like in the future. So there's a lot of like ambiguity on what's going on, and I really don't like it. And then culturally, I feel like I'm not really fitting with the job as well. So I really want to get out of this job. I'm not really sure what the best way to do that is. I have some ideas on what I could go and do, but I'm just feeling a bit overwhelmed by the stress of it.
I understand that. Okay. And I hear you. And there's a couple of things that spring to my mind as you say that. Number one question is in general in life, how do you react to change and uncertainty?
Um, I always thought I was quite good with change. Um, it's strange. If it's change that's not directly impacting me, then I can keep a really level head and I'm kind of like really proactive on finding a solution, doesn't really bother me. If it's something that's really going to impact me in the long term, if it's a short term change, I take a bit of adjustment, but I'm okay. But if it's a long term change, I get stressed and I get anxious and I feel uncomfortable.
Sure. Okay. And are those emotions mirroring how you're feeling now, how you
Yeah.
describe anxiety? Okay. So there's a couple of ways to look at this situation. Number one is it really right that you want to move job? Or are you just
Mm,
going to potentially encounter a similar situation, react the same way, and need to find another job there?
yeah.
Is it a case of looking at how you are experiencing this change process, what you can take autonomy and responsibility and accountability over, and rationalize and work through the stuff that you can't?
Mm.
What do you feel is the reality and where you'd want to focus the session? And maybe it's none of those things.
So, I've worked in like corporate environment in a corporate environment since I first started working, which was about 6, 7 years ago. Um, I have not enjoyed it. I've worked for 3 different companies now, and every time I move, I'm hoping that this will be the one, this will be the one. And the same things come up. I will get bored. I don't feel like there's a purpose. I don't particularly enjoy it. Um, and I feel like I can't be my authentic self. I personally am not really a corporate kind of individual. It's not really how, how I would characterize myself. So I think I have chosen the wrong kind of career, the wrong sector, the wrong area that I need to be in. And I think I had this conversation last night with my fiance, and we said, like, if I change jobs, I'm essentially just going to change the badge, right? And will I experience the same problems that I'm having now, and I had in my last company, and I had in my company before that? Am I just going to have the same issues? The running theme tends to be that I don't like it rather than it's a bad company.
Hmm.
So I'm now more considering leaving the corporate world entirely. Obviously, I'm doing my coaching course as well. So long term, my goal will be to be a coach. In what specific area, I'm not 100% sure. Potentially helping people with PMDD, because obviously I have that, so it's a good learning experience. Or potentially helping people with difficult family dynamics. I'm not
Hmm.
sure. There's
Hmm.
a scope. I'll figure it out as I go. But that's quite a long-term solution, and there's lots of steps that I need to take. And I've got my goals. I know what I'm doing with that, so that's fine. At the moment, I need to have some sort of solution because I dread going into the office. I'm in central London. I'm supposed to go in 3 days a week. I can barely muster one day a week.
Mm.
Brings me a lot of anxiety going in. I just really hate it. So I need like something in between. And I'm thinking about leaving and doing something completely different.
Mm. That's really, really interesting. And I love the fact that you're able to talk it through with your fiance and
Yeah.
you both kind of just can go, okay, well look, this is a theme actually. So rather than just jumping ship and going headlong into another and repeat the same pattern and be in the same situation, let's really talk it through. So I really love the fact that you've got that special person for you to share
Yeah.
and they can mirror things back to you. That's amazing, Holly. So that's really beneficial. So what would make the biggest impact on you? Would it be changing how you feel about the current situation that you're in?
Mm,
Could wave a magic wand. What would be beneficial? Would it be changing the way that you feel about the situation that you're currently in so you can carry on with it and then make
mm,
a decision from a place of being more stable and
mm,
rational about it rather than coming from a place of all these mixed emotions, needing to make this jump and trying to find where that jump needs to land?
mm,
Or maybe or we work at looking at your solutions and I don't know, moving towards that in this session. So, bearing in mind, we only have limited time together.
yeah.
Obviously, you'll do some work on yourself at home, but where do you feel you're going to get the best out of this session? Where if we focus and niche in?
Probably figuring out how to make my current job better, make it work for me. I have a bit of a plan cooking for something outside of that job. Need to think it through a bit more planning, a bit more research, see where I can go with it. But I feel like I've got something cooking there. However, it's going to take at least a couple of weeks to get going and to do it. So I think in the meantime, I need to figure out how can I manage to be at my current company and not absolutely loathe it.
Yeah. So, if you could imagine your working day going in, well, waking up initially and not having, because I imagine, tell me if I'm wrong, you have the autonomic thoughts, the ants, the autonomic
Yeah,
negative thoughts. Do they happen as soon as you wake up and it's Monday or you've got to go into the office? Are they there?
they're kind of there. Like if we're talking about Monday, they'll be there on the Sunday. I'll get the Sunday scaries, as we like to call it.
Okay. Would it be helpful if you didn't have those feelings on a Monday or a Sunday?
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
definitely.
Let's um let's look at that then, shall we?
Yeah.
All right. These feelings that you have, can you describe them for me?
Um, Anxiety for sure. It's like, what do I wear? I need to look corporate enough, which I think is interesting because from our last session, we talked about fear of rejection. And I think, because I literally work in the city, so I
Mhm.
go into Bank, I go into Waterloo and I go into Bank, and it is quite possibly one of the most corporate areas of London. And I'm just not a corporate girl. And so I go in, and everyone's got their nice, super smart suits on, and that's not me. And in one side I'm like totally okay that it's not me, but on the other side I'm like, I feel like I should fit in, I feel like I should be making more of an effort, I need to be dressing accordingly. And so I get a lot of anxiety about that, and then I don't feel comfortable in the clothes that I'm wearing, and then if I'm not comfortable, boom, I'm bloated. Like it
Mhm.
comes straight from here. If I'm stressed and I'm anxious and I don't feel comfortable what I'm wearing, I will just bloat immediately, and then it
Mm.
makes it worse.
All right.
And then when I'm on, and then I get the train, and I get anxious about the times and making sure I get there at the right time, and I have to have all sorts of alarms put on because otherwise I will miss the train. And I'm on the train, and I hate it when somebody sits next to me because the seats are really narrow, and I'm not a narrow person. And then I don't like the feeling if I can feel like someone's clothing touching my arm or my leg. I really don't like it. Literally a full feeling. I'm like, ugh, like I just hate it. I hate the sensory feeling. So like someone being that close physically to me, unless I trust them. And then I'm walking into the office, and I'm kind of like, okay, I'm walking. I try and hype myself up. I'm like, we can do it. We can do it. We're going to stop. We're going to get a little coffee. Let's romanticize the day a bit. Let's do something nice that we wouldn't usually do. Let's get a croissant. Let's try and make it nice. And then I get into the office and find my desk, and they're all hot desks, and you pick a different,
Mm.
you have to book a desk several weeks in advance, and they're always a different desk that you're sat at. And then I don't, like, there's people in the office but no one's a similar age, and so I feel like I have nothing in common with anybody. There's like two people I like to talk to but they're not always in. And then it's like, okay, I've now got to put all of that, all those thoughts, all those feelings behind me because I've got to crack on and I've got to do my job. And
Mm.
then it feels like I'm forcing myself to not feel because I have to do my job. And if I let the feelings take over, then I could be an absolute mess. And there's been days where I've let them take over and I've had to go home because I've started crying.
What feelings are you referring to?
Um, it's anxiety. It's like it's anxiety, but it's also like I'm sad because I don't want to be here and I want to be doing something. I want to do something else, or I just want to. Yeah, I want to. I'm sad that I feel like I'm doing something that doesn't have any meaning for me.
Mhm. And what do you think is, like, really happening for you? Like, when you think about those ants, what is the inner talk that you're telling yourself? It might be something
Um,
subconscious that you hadn't really understood.
yeah, I think there's definitely the thought of I'm not corporate enough. That's
Yeah.
definitely multiple times. And then there's probably I don't have enough experience, or I don't. not so much experience because I've been working for like 6, 7 years, so I have a good decent amount now. Like I'm not super senior, but I'm past the junior stage. But I feel like I don't have the relevant experience for the industry. So I'm like, well, I don't know about this and I don't know about that. So then I struggle. Um, and then I feel like other people in the business don't like me. So I'm like, oh yeah, well, this person clearly doesn't like you because they're never very friendly, or like they're not very collaborative, or they've made they've given like random feedback at an inappropriate time. Um, and then like I've been told by my manager that I need to like have more confidence, which is really hard to kind of say, like, just have more, you need to build your confidence without really then giving any kind of like techniques on how to do that. And so I was told in my probation, like, yeah, you're doing quite well, but you need to have a bit more confidence and have a bit more kind of be a bit more decisive and be more like stick more with your decisions, which is something that my therapist has said that I struggle with, trusting like my own judgment. But now, because that someone said that to me, it's in the back of my head of I'm not a confident person. So I'm not confident. I need to work on my confidence. And so then that's in the back of my head. And now I'm second guessing so much more because someone's pointed out you're not confident and you second guess yourself. So I'm second guessing myself even more.
Yeah. Is there anything else there that you've not shared about how you feel?
No, I think that's it.
So what comes up for me when I hear you say all that, especially around boundaries, when you're on the train and somebody sits close to you and telling yourself, do I fit in here? It's all about being judged, isn't it? But it's also around safety. I feel like I'm not safe, like, not just like physically safe, I'm not safe, but I'm not safe in so many different areas. People are going to find me out. People are going to call me out. People are too close. Like, people are noticing I'm calling me out on things. Like, I'm not confident. There's a lot going on around I'm not safe here. How does that land with you?
I honestly, that rings so many like true bells. I don't even know if that's a saying, but my manager that I used to have, she told me that she'd had a couple of ups and downs, and she's someone she's very open, which I really respect, and I think that's a really nice quality in a manager. But she's talked about how she has felt quite unsafe, and so I think maybe I've picked up some of that because I feel like, well, if my superior doesn't feel safe, why would I feel safe? And then the somebody who was really senior in the business like has left now, and they were quite known for being quite a confrontational individual. And a couple of people felt a bit ruffled by them, but there have been 2 occasions where I've been really triggered by that person in the office and I've had to go home because of things that they've said. And it's exactly that. I've then felt not safe. I felt
Mm-hmm.
like something really bad's going to happen. I'm going to get really told off, or like, and it just builds that anxiety and that fear. And I think it's exactly that. I don't feel safe in that office environment.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, I hear you. And not feeling safe, just in general, we can be in an empty, we can where randomly we can just not feel safe, just inside
Yeah.
feel safe. Um, and safety means so many different things to people, but generally when there's been a lack of emotional safety, a lack of ability to regulate as well, it can leave us with an internal discomfort of not feeling safe where we are, uh, really with who we are as well. We're not safe with who we are. Um,
Mm.
do you feel that that has been a theme for you? Has it been a long theme, a short theme? Can you?
Yeah, it's definitely been a theme throughout my entire career so far. I remember in my first job, um, receiving feedback from my manager, and I actually quite like feedback because I'm that kind of person that really likes to self develop. And I mean, I do all sorts of courses, and I like coaching, and I like therapy, so I like to work on myself. There's obviously a way that you can deliver feedback that is constructive and not a criticism. And he used to give me the weirdest feedback. He once said to me, "You need to behave more like a 30-year-old man." And I was like, at the time, I was 20, so I was like,
Mm.
how do I do that? Like, how do I be a man and 10 years older? Like, it's just the most random piece of advice. And he had a bit of a temper as well, and he would just like all of a sudden be really rude and like really unkind, and it would just freak me out. And I would be like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. And I would probably have a bit of a mild like anxiety attack because I'd have to go and hide in the loo for a
Mhm.
bit and try and calm down because I was so anxious that like I was going to get really told off
Mhm.
and something really bad was going to happen.
Okay. So I've heard you mention that twice about being told off, something bad's gonna.
Mm,
Is that a lifelong theme?
yeah,
So does that stem back right back to childhood?
yeah,
Yes. And is
yeah,
that where the lack of safety comes in?
yeah.
So what do you think happened first? Feeling unsafe, being told off, got into trouble, something bad happened, or the reverse of that?
I think being told off. Um, so I was in an environment where I never knew what kind of mood this person was going to be in,
Mhm.
and yeah, it was really hard because I had no idea when I was going to be told off. And it wasn't just like, you've done something wrong, don't do it again. It was a full on, I'm getting screamed at by someone very, very loud, a lot of thrashing about, breaking things. And then lots of horrible things were said, a lot of things
Mhm.
like, I don't want you anymore, and
Mhm.
stuff like that. So I think that would happen, and that started to become a pattern. It happened really frequently, good few times a week.
Mhm.
And then I think that's when I felt unsafe. And like I remember trying to hide, and I would be as silent and as quiet and as still as possible to not um put this person in even a worse mood.
Okay. I want you to think about how that's still playing out now.
Mm, yeah, it's definitely still playing out.
Think about every scenario you just described to me.
Mm. I mean, it doesn't happen anymore because I don't live there.
No, of course not. But
But
nervous system, which is designed to keep you safe,
still
has
feels it.
is still on fight or flight freeze because it's the and because of the animals that we are, need to have a neuroception, which is our detector that
Mm,
scans environment before we're even consciously aware of really where we are.
mm,
And it's picking up on all of the vibratory cues that our conscious brain isn't online with,
mm,
but our threat detector is scanning, but also isn't really in reality.
mm,
Reality that's been created from the past experience that it's trying to prevent happening again.
mm.
Looking for anything that could be a potential threat.
So I guess that's like the hypervigilance, is it?
The hypervigilance, yeah, perfect to describe it like that. Yeah. But the hypervigilance comes from our threat scanning detector
Yeah.
because you know it but it happens automatically. That's the thing. We don't consciously
Mm,
get around going, come on, give me the threat cues, give me the threat cues. You know, you're sat on the train and somebody sits too close to you, then it's a threat, the threat cue.
Yeah, and when I'm on the train, I'm like I get physically scared for my safety as well, or rather scared for my physical safety. You know, you hear all sorts of things in the news that happen to women walking on their own at night or even in the day, and it's really scary. There's loads of stories about phones getting nicked straight out of
Mhm.
your hand. So I always have mine on a lanyard, and like when I when I'm on the train, because I'm like one of the first stops, I'm on the train, and then people start coming in, and I'm
Mm,
sat there like, please don't sit next to me, please don't sit next to me.
mm,
If it's a woman, I feel a lot safer. If it's a
mhm,
man, I don't feel safe.
mm,
And you know, the thoughts that are coming into my head is like, is this person going to inappropriately touch me? Are they going to be weird with me? Are they going to say something? Are they going to, you know, take up loads of space and I'm cramped in the side? Like, it's all of that physical stuff as well that's happening. And I mean, I've caught the train so many times now, and that's never happened. But that fear is still in my mind of like, this could happen, this could happen.
yeah. So when you're there in that moment and you're not sure what's coming next, how old are you? Or how old is that part of you?
Old, definitely. I'd say when I'm in the office and I know that like physically I'm safe because I'm in the office, the emotional stuff that I'm scared of, or like being told off, that's like probably stems from really early childhood. The physical stuff, I'm actually not really sure. I've never been physically abused.
No,
So,
there's always been a threat. So
yeah,
naturally be assaulted, but you can be verbally and emotionally assaulted. And
yeah,
it's scary because we are lacking boundary and defense. So, what you're experiencing is a lack of safety, a lack of boundary. But more
mm,
importantly than that, the reason potentially why you're feeling that way is you haven't had the ability to defend yourself
yeah,
enough to where you know you're safe.
yeah, yeah, I would say that's really spot on.
So, how young is that version of you?
Probably, I don't really have any memories before like 8. That's when my parents got divorced. Really spotty, random things I can remember, not much else. So I'd say probably then.
Yeah. And that's when, we form all these beliefs at a really tender age, normally like 7.
Mm,
Um, but just before we go on, just take a minute to reflect on everything that we've just talked about, all your insecurities, the anxiety, the Sunday scaries, the dread, the judging yourself, that I don't fit in, I'm not safe here. Just think about everything you've just told me about your present day experience and reflect on it, your childhood experience. I just want you to see. I'm just going to give you a minute of silence just
oh,
to.
yeah.
What is coming up for you? Like, it's sometimes it's not helpful just to keep talking. I really want you to process. So what's coming up for you?
I feel really sad.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like sad that that's like my experience of my childhood and my younger self. Um, I feel like a real tightness in my chest. which almost I feel like it's kind of I feel like I can't get enough oxygen in.
Mhm. So
Um,
trauma response to, yeah,
yeah. Um, and yeah, I think just like a bit of anger as well. Like, yeah, just angry that that was my experience.
yeah. And can you see how life is still playing out from the young child who couldn't defend herself, who only made the experiences she was experiencing at the time mean something negative about herself because she was unable to see the bigger picture, unable
Mm,
to rationalize, unable to understand and comprehend. So, in order to make meaning of the situation to feel safe, because that's what we need to do, we need to make meaning, we internalize that meaning to mean that we are wrong, we are broken, we are bad.
yeah, yeah, that's exactly how I feel.
And
Like
then
all
that,
the time.
exactly, but that's not the reality. That's not
Mm,
what's going on here.
yeah, it's hard to like not let it become the reality, like, or feel like it's the reality, because that's what you've just said is honestly like how I feel pretty much all the time.
Because you're trying to keep yourself safe. Because you've not learned how to do that. Nobody's taught you how. You've not managed to do it. You will have. There will be. Obviously, you've got to this point in your adulthood, and you're still here, and you're safe, and you've got a beautiful fiance, and you've got this lovely relationship. You
Yeah.
know, you have great things, and you have made that happen for you. It's not the whole story of you, Holly, but
Mm,
imprinted in your trauma nervous system is a memory that's a movie playing out all the time.
mm,
And as we've talked about, it infiltrates every area of your life.
mm.
So instead of jumping and jumping and jumping, trying to find that safety where you fit in, it's a job for you and I to work together to help you feel safe where you are right now in every situation.
Yeah. Yeah. It would be nice to feel safe.
Well, we can make that happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I've got to say, smart, doing a
Yeah.
smart
I was
session
just thinking that.
is the thing that we need to do here. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna close this session down so
Yeah.
we can move on to a smart session. Does that make sense to you? Because we need to get
We need
to
to
the
do
root
it.
cause of the nervous system. And just for people who watch this and go, what is smart? Smart is somatic memory repatterning technique. It finds the first ever memory that is supporting all of the issues you've said and all of the emotions. We get to the root cause, we do the smart technique, and we disassociate the emotions, which is the thing that is, reactive. We disassociate them so you don't have those triggers anymore. So when you're on the train, you won't be triggered. When you're choosing clothes, you won't be triggered. When you're walking into the office, you won't be triggered. You will feel balanced.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to just end this meeting, but come back on the same